Hello and welcome to another edition of Storytelling on Orchard Street. I'm your host, Pete Salamita, and we're in the podcast studios of P&T Knitwear Bookstore, 180 Orchard Street, downtown Lower East Side of Manhattan. My guest today is Maria Lisella. Maria is the 6th Poet Laureate of Queens, New York, 2015 to 2019, an Academy of American Poets Laureate Fellow, an award-winning travel writer. Born in South Jamaica, Queens, New York, she received a BA from Queens College, a master's degree in specialized journalism from NYU Polytechnic Institute, and attended the Columbia University Graduate School of Journalism. Lisella is the author of 2 full-length poetry collections, At the Hour of Now on Bodega Press, 2026, Thieves in the Family, NYQ Books, 2014, and 2 chapbooks, Amore on Hope Amore on Hope Street, finished in Line Press 2009, and 2 Naked Feet, Poets Wear Prada, 2009. Lisella curates the New York Italian-American Writers Association literary series and is a poetry editor for Voices in Italian Americana. She has led poetry workshops for underserved communities throughout the Queens Public Library System, the Greater Astoria Historical Society Heights and Hills, Brooklyn Older Adults Program, and Sage with Teachers, and the Noguchi Museum and Writers Collaborative Writers Guild Initiative. I fumbled a little bit there, but I finally got there. Welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you for having me.
So,
It's during National Poetry Month.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's perfect for you to be here this month.
Yeah, that's not such an easy time to get a gig like this, so I appreciate it.
Sure. So when we were corresponding before the podcast, you said you hope you wouldn't say anything stupid. So I promised to say something stupid first. I haven't done it yet, but I will tell you, I think this is the 68th episode. And every time I do it, I sit here while I'm listening to my guests thinking, I hope I have something smart to say and I don't say something stupid. Does that make you feel more at ease?
No, I'm always worried I'm going to talk too much or go in a different direction. And
It's okay. Yeah. This is a casual thing, this conversation. And I don't know if you could talk too much. This is your episode. This is all about you.
I know. It makes me feel very self-conscious.
Okay. Well, I get that.
I'm used to promoting other people.
But you have so much to do, including that. And you do so much, and you have so much to say. You've written all these books. I read all your biography. You've done so many cool things. You answered some of my questions. I usually ask my guests, where they grew up, and you're a Queens gal.
I am a Queens gal.
Are you still a Queens gal?
Yeah, but I grew up in South Jamaica until I was about 11. They keep, I don't know, for some reason they keep eliminating that. I've been in Astoria for like 50 years, so
okay.
I don't know.
Right, so yeah.
That's the place.
So I guess you love it there.
I do love it. It's funny because I'm a travel writer, so I travel around and I see other places. And
right.
And it's funny, I've been to like a couple of these 55 plus communities because I had a friend who was living there,
mm-hmm.
and that couldn't be further from my vision, mm-hmm. because I like having 4 neighbors on a floor who I happen to know,
right.
who I can give them my key and go into water the plants and
right.
whatever.
That's kind of key,
and people,
especially since you travel a lot.
Yeah,
you kind of need that help.
Yeah, and also you just need the help in general because
right.
you're But urban life has been really kind of more germane to my life.
Okay.
And I'm comfortable with it.
Right.
I mean, my mother's family started on Carmine Street, which is north of here. In fact, she was born on Carmine Street.
Oh, okay.
So they started in Greenwich Village. So they were sort of urbanites.
Was she the first generation to come?
She was born here.
Okay.
So I always get confused whether or not that means she's first generation American or she's the second generation to be here, because
mm-hmm.
my grandparents were the first to arrive, and
right.
then, so whatever. But
right.
She's basically the first American.
Were both parents from
both
Italy?
born here.
But from Italy.
No. Well, their parents were.
Right. That's
Yeah,
what I
their
mean.
parents. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
your family.
Yeah.
You're full-blooded
yeah.
Italian.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But well, we have some other, not too much other stuff, but
Right.
yeah.
Well, I think if you do, if you do what is it, ancestry.com or something.
Yeah. No, I didn't do that.
No, but
actually.
usually they say that people have things they don't know they have.
Yeah.
in their bloodline.
No, the closest thing I did to a genealogical tracking was when I did a story on the only female rabbi in Italy. And she did a study. And I mean, okay, it's in her purview to want everyone to have been Jewish because she is this unusual rabbi.
Right.
And she opened the first synagogue in Italy in 500 years.
Wow.
So she did, kind of a detailed history. And as it turned out, we came from Calabres who were originally from the Middle East, and they came in 287 BC to Calabria.
Okay.
And when the Spanish Inquisition started, they all went underground.
Okay.
So everybody lost their sort of Jewish trail,
Right. Right.
So yeah, it's a little bit different.
Right. Wow.
But it's Italian, and I guess originally Middle Eastern a long, long time ago.
Right.
But if you go into a Greek butcher shop and a story and you tell them that you were born in Calabria, they tell you that you're Greek.
Ah. Okay.
Well, because the Greeks were there about 700 or 800 years.
Sure.
A very long time ago.
Yeah. So, growing up in Queens with Italian parents, were they into the arts? Did you come upon your love of writing as a kid, or how did that work?
Okay, so my father used to ask us, why do you read fiction? He was an engineer. He was very concrete.
Okay. Right.
So no, it's just that I grew up in a household of 3 generations, and the initial ones from Italy spoke a dialect. My mother spoke Italian and dialect. So I grew up around language.
Okay.
And I think that language always seemed like kind of a game to me.
Right.
Like I'd try to figure out homonyms and synonyms in Italian.
Oh.
So as I learned English, I would, try to apply it to Italian, or what I thought was Italian.
Wait, so
was
which one,
Calabres.
did you learn both simultaneously, English and Italian, or? Was,
Yeah, well, you had to if
right.
you wanted to survive in the household.
Did your parents speak good
No,
English?
my grandparents spoke Calabres.
Mm-hmm.
My mother could speak to both of them. My father had lost his tongue, actually, his language. Even though he started off school speaking only Italian.
Mm-hmm.
Once he became an adult, I guess, over the years, he lost his ability to speak that tongue.
Wow. Because he didn't have
He
way
didn't
to
practice it, and
Right.
his father died when he was in World War II. His mother died when he was 7.
Wow.
So he lost it. And, he tried to be an American.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, and during World War II, there was definitely the urging of not to speak the language of the enemy.
Yeah, it's weird. My parents didn't speak Italian,
Were they from Italy?
Well, their parents.
Right.
Yeah,
But I think it depends on where you grew up and how you grew up.
maybe.
My husband's family lived in Stamford, Connecticut, which was much more American
Mm-hmm.
than where I grew up. And they really didn't want any Italian spoken in the house, even though his mother spoke it.
Right. Well, my father grew up in Brooklyn, so he would have been around other Italians, I would think. My mother grew up on Long Island, so and her father came when he was like 8 or 9 or 10 or whatever by himself.
Yeah, it's a kind of mixed bag, but
Yeah.
it's unfortunate that early people lost their language.
Yeah.
And that there was a lot of shame involved with speaking dialect.
Right. I think that was part
Also,
of it too.
there was some of that. And then there was the shame of speaking with an accent, and you're in America.
Right.
It might have been easier if they all moved to Argentina.
Right.
But they,
Yeah.
I mean, millions did, but millions came here, and this was a harder resettling for people,
Sure.
for Italians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So I think it came out of a love of language,
Right.
frankly.
Okay.
Seeing language as, sort of a flexible kind of thing that you could play with.
Right.
It's entertaining,
Huh.
actually. I mean, I used to watch, Italian. What people see now as art films, I used to watch on something called Continental Miniatures.
What's that?
Well, it was an Italian. It was a series of Italian movies, and they were all neo-realist movies.
Huh.
I mean, many years later they became art movies,
Right.
but at the time they were just black and white movies with Anna Magnani
From like when?
from Italy,
No, but what era are they from?
post World War II.
Right.
Visconti and
Okay.
yeah. So Bicycle Thief,
Okay.
Roma.
That one I've heard of. Yeah.
All of those
Right.
came, Umberto D. All of them came, they came right after the war, black and white. And they were aired on this program called Continental Miniatures. And I would see that on, I guess, Saturday mornings.
On TV.
Yeah, on TV,
Wow.
because, TV, we didn't have a zillion stations.
No, I know that.
So, you had
Was
an
it public
educational...
TV or?
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I think it was on Channel 11, which I think was a local station.
Yeah. PIX.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's strange. We have so much now, but you don't have very peculiar things like that.
Wow. Right.
Well, maybe you do
Yeah,
somewhere,
you have to
but
know to look. Where
you
to
have
look
to find
for.
it.
It's hard to know where to look for things now.
yeah,
it's
we have
complicated.
kind of bombarded with
Yeah,
things you don't know which way to go.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's pretty much how it came out. And when I grew up in South Jamaica, it was we left around, I'm going to say 63. So it was the time of civil rights, and there was some sort of a period of flux, and so we left what was pretty much an African American neighborhood, except for my mother's best friend who lived around the corner, and us, and the pharmacist. Otherwise, most people were not white. And so we moved to a very white neighborhood, which was very, very strange. Because, well, for the obvious, it was new to us.
Right.
And we were the dark people.
Huh.
So
Interesting.
it changed the dynamic of...
That's funny.
Yeah.
Right.
But again, it was also about being mixed. We had...
So you're talking about this is Astoria?
No, I didn't know. I moved to Astoria as an adult.
I see.
My parents moved to a white neighborhood called Belrose.
Belrose. Okay.
And it's on the border of Queens and Nassau.
Right.
And it was predominantly, I guess we ended up at a school that was Irish Catholic, which is very different than Italian Catholic.
Right. Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a big transition actually. But yeah.
So what made you decide to? So when you were in, say, high school, were you like when did you start writing poetry and know that you wanted to pursue literature and poetry in college?
I liked language, and in high school I think I wrote a poem that got a haiku or something. But I was more interested in journalism.
Okay, right.
And so when I went to college, I went to a 2-year. Well, I was also interested in dance because I had been studying dance for a very long time. And, but I realized that, I did join a modern dance company, the Charles Weidman Company, and Charles was one of the 4 pioneers of modern dance in America. There was sort of a point when I was in college that I decided I wanted to move away from things European to learn about being American.
I see.
Right? And that included studying modern art, and it included studying music and studying American history. And so I kind of created a curriculum for myself that moved away from European.
Got it.
So I did join the Charles Weidman Company. It was kind of like a semi-professional group. And so that was interesting. But, after studying it for a long time, I decided I probably would not be a great dancer. And, I had certain milestones that indicated I wasn't going to be reach a certain level.
Right.
So I began to write about dance.
Oh.
And I did that for a little while, but discovered that dancers are not that easy to interview because they're a little bit like athletes.
Okay.
You know, they work hard,
Right.
but they're not always articulate about what they do.
Right.
And so then I moved on. I just kept getting newspaper jobs. Yeah.
While you were in college.
No,
was this after college? Oh,
after college.
I see.
I got
Okay.
newspaper
Right.
jobs.
Right.
In college, I did some, part-time work as ESL tutor
Okay.
and that sort of thing.
Right.
But no, in college, actually, I had worked for the Joffrey Ballet because I did they created a group of us, students, to try to get younger people to go to the ballet.
Wow.
So we kind of just, there was quite a clutch of us from all over the city. And we would promote the ballet.
Ah.
Maybe we promoted it by writing stories about it or whatever. And we helped to increase the audience participation among young people by about 30%.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
so it was
it was
really
very
important
successful.
because the Joffrey Ballet was a very sort of almost avant-garde ballet company.
Okay.
Joffrey and Arpino were really visionaries.
Mm-hmm.
And up to then, people knew Sleeping Beauty and Swan Lake. And they created things like Green Table, which was about peace and anti-war. So it was kind of an interesting time. But I did decide that, Brenda Starr was my, she was like my hero.
Mm-hmm.
She was my Sunday comics hero.
Oh.
She was a journalist.
Right. Sure.
Right. So, I was interested in that.
Yeah.
But I didn't go directly into journalism because, the opportunities weren't always there. And so I took jobs as, I worked on a business paper and I worked on this and that. And then at some point I had the opportunity to go back to school. So I got my master's. But I went to, it's now called NYU. It may not be Polytech. I forget. They've changed the name a couple of times. It started off as Brooklyn Polytech.
I see.
And I took a course in specialized journalism because I didn't want to quit my job at Travel and Leisure
Mm-hmm.
to go to school full-time at NYU or Columbia.
Okay.
And back then, I think a master's degree only cost about $7,500.
Wow.
I know, it's kind of cuckoo. So, but I didn't want to let go of my job. So I did work at Travel and Leisure, which was...
Were you doing travel?
I wasn't doing travel
yes.
writing. I was
Oh,
really
okay.
doing fact-checking.
I see.
And I was doing some production work.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, one of the reporters one of the editors at Travel and Leisure invited me to an event. She said, you can meet some people here, and maybe you can get something else. And she really helped me.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah, because, Travel and Leisure is owned by American Express. So it was my entree to how does corporate life work. There was nobody in my house who could tell me how corporate
Sure.
life would work.
Right.
And I learned a tremendous amount about how to negotiate that.
Right.
And had really wonderful guides. And this woman, she kind of like took me under her wing and said, you got to meet this guy. And it was a travel trade magazine, which didn't have the glamour of a Travel and Leisure, but they had double the salary.
Right. Were you a bit of a trailblazer? Were there a lot of women in this field, or?
Yeah, there's always a lot of women in publishing because it doesn't pay well.
Oh. Okay.
But I mean, they may be changing a little bit, but I'm not so sure
Right.
because the whole field, everything in publishing has changed so much.
Right.
So, but no. There were a lot of women that worked at Travel and Leisure. There were a
Okay.
lot of debutantes who also worked at Travel and Leisure. So it was it was one of those jobs.
Right.
It was a class thing.
Right.
I think so. But then I worked for the trades, and that was like fantastic because then I actually traveled and made more money than I did at Travel and Leisure.
Well, those are both great things, right?
Yeah, those are both great things. And I couldn't believe somebody actually paid me to sit in front of a computer and do two things I liked.
You were using computers at that time?
Well, no. When I first got there, I think we were using typewriters. Then it was some sort of weird word processor.
Right.
I mean, it was quite a while before we got to like a
Yeah.
little Mac
Sure.
or something.
Right,
It's
right.
funny to think about it. But yeah, but I had gone to a Catholic girls' school for high school, and I had taken a commercial course.
Mm-hmm.
So I could take stenography very fast and type very fast. Because I was still thinking in high school, I might be a dancer and then I have to have another job.
Sure.
But by the end of high school, I wasn't so interested in that. But anyway,
Right.
so that's it.
How'd you meet Gil? Because
Yeah.
you just say that this is a very important subject.
It is a little bit.
For you, and it's a big part of your current writing, at least.
Well, yeah. It's interesting. Well, Gil, I met Gil when I was in my early 20s, but I was seeing a friend of his and living with a friend of his, and I would always meet him at these parties. But I sort of liked this guy. But I was kind of engaged. He was still engaged. So fast forward, we met later, and we both had the same feeling about our ethnic backgrounds, which was that we were both politically active. And I'm saying a lot. That's bad.
Don't worry about it.
We were both politically active, and we didn't always run into very many Italians. Or Italian Americans.
Was he Italian also?
He was Italian American. Yeah, his name is Gil Fagiani.
Oh, yeah, of
Yeah, it
course.
means pheasants in Italian. And so we decided to kind of create a curriculum of our own. And it was around the time that Italian American Studies was beginning anyway at Queens College. And we kind of created a curriculum of books that would be about other types of Italians. Whether it's Mario Puzo's Fortunate Pilgrim, or it was Mary Bucci's Sweet Hope, or there were a lot of books, but you had to kind of find them. And we also, learned about Vito Marcantonio and Leonard Covello, and LaGuardia. Marcantonio was LaGuardia's protege.
Yeah.
So we always had this feeling in our political circles of being a little bit ashamed of being Italian, because they were very often doing bad things, and they were not showing their best side.
Right.
And who wants to identify with that? And
Right.
people often mistook me for being Jewish.
Okay.
Because you're a smart girl. How could you be Italian?
Wow.
Well, there was that,
Sure.
and it's interesting because, anyway, so we created this curriculum for ourselves and made friends with who we were.
Sure.
In that sense,
Yeah.
and we actually were co-founders of the Vito Marcantonio Forum in New York. It's kind of on hiatus now,
I
but
see.
yeah, we did that in like 2011, I think.
Okay.
Something like that. But he was much more actively engaged in left-wing
I see.
activism in the Bronx, and he helped found an organization called White Lightning. But anyway, so he used to do a lot of that kind of writing. But it wasn't until fast forward later, I don't know how we influenced each other, but he turned his work, he turned away from writing kind of independent scholar essays to poetry. And he felt that he could reach more people through poetry.
Right.
Yeah. So he I would say, both kind of late bloomers.
Right.
And he started really writing in, the mid to late 90s. And he learned Italian when he was about 50.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So that all the trips to Italy also changed everything.
Right.
Right. Because
For your job.
Well, no, not for my job, for my life.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Because when
But you did write about.
I did write about Italy, but when I was 20, I did my first study abroad program
Okay.
to Italy, and
Right.
I guess I was the first person in my family to actually go to Italy, meet all the relatives,
Wow.
speak to the relatives.
Was
and
that fun?
It was fun. It was crazy fun.
Yeah.
In those days, CUNY was very cheap,
Yeah.
and you could go on a study abroad program probably for $1,200 for the summer.
Wow.
Yeah, so who wouldn't want to
What a
do
great
that?
opportunity. Sure.
So I did that, and that changed everything. Also, that was a big game changer. Was actually traveling to Italy.
Right. So we're
Yeah.
we're moving
sorry.
along pretty quickly, but I want to make sure we sprinkle in some of your poetry.
Oh, okay.
Are you reading from the book that's all the way over there?
Oh, no, I have, oh, here, oh, yeah, I did. I meant to put them over here.
Okay. So this is from.
So I have two.
Okay.
What would you like to hear?
That's entirely up to you.
I can read you a girlhood one. Do you want a girlhood one?
What do you mean by a girlhood?
Oh, yeah, nothing sexy, just,
Whatever you're comfortable reading.
I'll read the same because it's kind of a signature piece, and I won't discuss it. I'll just tell you.
Sure, just read it.
I'll let it fall where
Okay.
it might fall
Right.
because you tell people how to think about it. It's
No,
not fair.
True.
The same. I want to tell the little Chinese women with the loud voices to sit beside each other so they don't shout across the subway car over my head, shattering my space. I offer my seat. The lady with the short cropped perm red as a rooster's comb in a Chinese market gives me a toothy grin, the essence of onions, garlic, shakes her head from side to side like a Tai Chi exercise. No, no, no. As if to say, I may shop in Costco, wear jeans, a North Face down jacket, but you'll never make me a Westerner. Won't drop my Chinese voice a single decibel to suit you and your Anglo silence on subway cars, as if they were chapels or private property. I hear my grandmother's staccato calabrese vowels clang against brick walls in an alleyway in Queens, with the same defiance, the same pride, the same sorrow to be in America.
Well, that really feels like a New York subway experience.
It's a New York. Yeah, it really is a New York experience, and I did feel that I did understand the defiance because
sure.
my grandmother, she came here, but she kind of fought against a lot of things American anyway.
Right. Yeah, sure. I
So
could get
they
that.
have this tug and pull because people don't really want to lose their homes.
Right.
And people don't really want to leave home.
Mm-hmm.
I have certain relatives who think, we should be bombing the hell out of Iran, right? And I said to them, okay, and then you don't like immigrants, but guess what? If we keep blowing up everybody's house, they have to come here and live.
Right.
So think about it.
Right.
In this whole globalization crazy stuff, it's crazy. So anyway, so this book, okay, so Thieves in the Family really did focus more on family. It focused a little bit on loss, as my father died during this book, and I couldn't stop writing about him, which
Right.
was kind of odd.
You
But
had a good relationship?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And I did do some travel in here, but also, people tell you interesting things when you're traveling because they don't expect to see you again.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of how I
So
saw
they
it.
open up a little more. Good.
Yeah, so I would be there on an assignment. Oops. And maybe I would stay later and talk to a general manager at a hotel or a guide and talk to them about maybe something that they're not allowed to talk about during the tour.
Right.
Right, because the press always gets a sort of a rosy, hazy look at what's happening.
Sure. Well, they want to.
Because they want to show their
increase their
best.
business. Yeah.
And they want you to write nice things.
Sure.
So this piece kind of illustrates that. And this was in Dubrovnik, Mad with Fear. She stands alone atop a bleached white fortress overlooking the turquoise Adriatic. The dry Bura wind brushes the heat of spring-summer over her skin, a wind only nature could invent and usually saves for winter. Franica moved to Dubrovnik's old city protected by tall, thick limestone walls. Not for a moment did we think they would bomb the old town. Not Napoleon, not Hitler did such a thing. Even when the bombs fell in the shelling hours, we slept sometimes for 16 hours a day. I have never slept so many hours, so much of my life just spent sleeping. Sometimes when we woke, we could not hear, we could not speak. Her pale, wide-spaced eyes sag at the outer corners, and I wonder if they looked that way before the war, before the shelling, before the long sleeps, before sharing 5 liters of water each day among so many who needed to drink or bathe. At night, we tied our wrists one to another so we could not be lost. Her head lifts, her eyes lock on mine for the first time. And we laughed for no reason, mad with fear. So she basically wrote that poem.
Wow.
This woman, Franica.
So it's basically her story.
It's her story.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really her story. So I think that's all from journalism, though.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, you let other people tell the story.
Right.
For a long time, I don't know. In this book, I don't use. I see I a lot, but not. Most of the book is not about I.
Mm-hmm.
So that changes. But and this book is written. Okay, so let's see. This book was written Thieves in the Family from New York Quarterly, which was a great story because I read at Cornelia Street Cafe and Raymond Hammond came up to me and said, "Those two poems, you have to send those poems to me at New York Quarterly."
Wow.
And then, you know, and
Cool.
then he published the book. So
Wow,
that was in
that's
2014.
awesome.
Yeah,
Right.
it was. It was really.
Yeah.
And my husband and I were already going to the Italian American Writers Association readings, which I have to say contributed to the sense of having a little confidence about what you were going to write about, and that it was okay to write about your family.
Right.
Maybe not forever, but
Sure.
you know, it was something that you knew, and it was something that could draw out commonality among others.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as opposed to saying how different we are.
Isn't it important to write about something that's going to, you know, bring out something, an emotion or a feeling or, you
Yeah.
know, so if it's your family that does that, it's okay.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's true. I mean, and it is the thing that you're going to know most intimately
Right.
initially,
Yeah.
even if you use it as a jumping off point for other things.
Right.
So this book was written in a much later period in my
And this
life.
is the newest one.
Yeah, this is At the Hour of Now from
Right.
Bordighera Press. This book started off as a little chapbook, and it was going to be primarily about my stepson. But then I realized there were I had so many other pieces that kind of
Is there a
made
story behind? So, how do you have a stepson?
Oh,
Just,
Gil. Sorry, Gil
Yeah.
had two.
'Cause I noticed
two
that
children. Oh
okay.
yeah, he had two children
Right.
from his previous marriage. They're half Puerto Rican, and
Yeah, I read one of your
Speak
poems
Spanish,
on
yeah.
I think it was your website, or you gave me a link to something that I
Oh.
saw some of your poems. And
probably at the
I think it
academy.
was one
site.
about holding your thing.
Yeah,
his
holding his
daughter's-
hand
yeah,
and
yeah.
and going into the water.
Right.
Yeah, I just read that with the Caribbean, a Caribbean poetry group. But yeah, this book is a little bit more about caregiving, and I left my parents out of this book. I really have more about my mother too, because she lived to 103.
Wow.
Right. So that's, you know, I feel like I have about 3 or 4 more books
Right.
in different places, you know,
Yeah.
that not organized. But this book came a little bit hard in some ways, but it was necessary, and it
are there-
came out kind of naturally.
So there was a poem
Yeah.
on the that I read on your website. It was, or at least a couple of poems, I think, about your husband being in Gil being in I think a nursing home or hospital.
No. He was in a hospital.
Right.
He got sick, and we were in Norway, and he got sick, and he died in 6 months.
Wow. Not there,
No,
No.
not there. No, we went home.
right.
But yeah.
So where's that from? Is that from this book?
Oh, that's the new book.
Right, it's from the new book.
And actually, so what also makes this book a little bit different is I have a few poems by him
Oh, right.
and a few by my stepson.
Wow.
And my stepson is blind,
Okay.
so he does create poetry. He kind of creates it in his head.
Mm-hmm.
He memorizes it, and he records it over a different device that has music, and he records his words over the music.
Oh, wow.
I
I'd
know
love to hear
it's
that.
it's pretty skilled for a blind guy.
Right.
It's like,
Well, the technology's
I mean, it's
come a
there.
long way.
Yeah, so it's not,
Yeah.
but still, you
In
know.
the
he's-
90s, I worked
he's-
for the Associated Blind. It was a small organization, and stuff was starting to come out where, you know, like a device that could read, a Kurzweil that could read books and
Yeah.
talk it out. Like, that was a big deal then.
Right, it was a
Yeah,
big deal,
yeah,
and
right.
you know, sure,
Right.
talking watches,
Right, right,
you know, all of that. It's
Yeah.
it's funny, like we've been through a lot of inventions,
right.
right?
And that's the good part of the inventions. when
That's
it can help somebody.
when they help people.
Right, exactly. Right.
At this point, I feel like some of them just confuse me.
Yeah.
But so I can read. Let's see. I can read. I wrote a couple of things down. But I did want to also talk a little bit about the fact that because of Iowa, meaning Italian American Writers Association, which is kind of funny because the Irish American Writers is Iowa also.
Okay.
They are
That's confusing.
Italian American writers and artists.
Right.
So they're Iowa also.
Uh-huh.
The sense of community, I think, is kind of key amongst certain artists.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Iowa has helped to create such a community.
You're on the board.
I'm on the board now because we had to create a board when we had 501c3.
Sure.
But what essentially happened was the person who was the president for a very, very long time died in 2019.
I see.
And we had sort of a board then, but it was kind of informal.
Right.
And so somebody had to keep going, otherwise it wasn't going to go.
Right.
So it's in its 35th year now.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it is. And we have readings in Boston
Yes.
and Philadelphia.
Right.
Right.
Well, I am a member. I haven't been there in a while because of my stupid work schedule.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
I get up at 4:30 on
You still
Thursday and Friday.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's hard to get.
That's brutal.
Yeah, it's hard to get.
I had to get up that early to take a plane last week.
It's not fun.
No,
Yeah,
that was brutal.
it makes it hard to go to events like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's too late in the day.
Yeah.
But let's see. What would you like to hear? Anything? Take your pick.
Well, I don't know. I don't know your book.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, you look for something. I'm going to read one of your poems. Is that okay?
Sure.
Because I thought like.
Yeah, well, you picked out something that you
Well,
like.
I was just impressed with how it's only a few lines and it says so much, and I think that's a really hard thing to do as a writer.
It is. You keep ripping it up until it's down.
Like that day in February, crisp, sharp, cloudless. It's like that today when winter refuses to fade, the sheets over and under you, creaseless like the sky. I bend over your hospital bed, release the railing between us. In silence, we call mercy into the room. I just thought they were so beautiful. It said so much, and it's just a few sentences.
Thank you. Yeah, that was toward the end of his life.
Right.
We were both still writing, actually, while he was
right.
in the hospital.
Okay.
So we did put together something that's writing from each side of the bed, but I just haven't had the nerve to go through it.
So you found out he was sick in Norway, and then he died 6 months later?
Yeah, and then he came home, and he got treated, and it looked like he was in remission, and he was supposed to get a bone marrow transplant. And 2 weeks before that happened, it came back.
Wow.
So, but during that time, that January, he chose all these poems from this book, Soundtrack of a Life.
Okay.
He selected poems from all his other books
Right.
to put into Soundtrack of a Life, and
Wow.
he did that the January that he ended up. He was in remission, and then it came back.
Wow.
So, and someone else translated it, so it's bilingual.
I
So
see.
this book actually I launched in Sicily, in the town his mother's from.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was a wonderful
Did he
experience.
still have family there?
Yeah, I stayed with his family.
Oh.
Yeah,
And
they always have an apartment.
That must have been a big deal for them.
They were really curious. There were a lot of things they didn't really know about him.
I see.
Because he has books about drug addiction and therapeutic community.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that was a chapter he went too deeply into with them.
Right. Was that
So
part
I
of his
think it
life?
was a little,
He
it
was-
was
it was-
part of his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Before you knew him?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Before I knew him.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, so I'll tell you, I'll give you, well, this is another one about, maybe, let me give you what, you know what, let me read you this one, because this poem just got one finalist in a new contest
Awesome.
called Signal, and it comes out of the Browning.
You had a lot of good news recently. You
Yeah,
had
it
one of
was
your
this
one of your
week.
poems on NPR.
Yeah, it
the
was on
poetry for
NPR
Poetry
on
Month.
Tuesday,
Yeah.
and this one,
I always find out about that too late to submit a poem.
well, you can still submit, I think. I forget when the deadline is, but they get so, they get thousands of
And they
us.
must get a ton.
And the
of them.
reason it went well is because the woman, Casey Trauma, who's a Queens writer, she has this project going called Queensbound. I think it's about 4 or 5 years old. And she did it online. And it was about us, reading poems on the various subway stations. And so, she did an interesting, innovative site for it.
Right.
And so I think she reached out to WNYC and tried to get the people from Queensbound. And
Okay.
WNYC actually came to the library at Jackson Heights and, had us read in this little
That's awesome.
this little room.
Good
Yeah,
for
it was
you.
great.
Yeah, I bet.
So I think almost all of us got something in there. This is about my stepson, but this one actually got, it's hard to get this one published. And now somebody at least gave it an award, so it got
Great.
a little, got
Good
a
for
little
you.
love.
Right.
What I'd wish for you. This is not the poem about when you die, but when you fly. Flash of your slim waist, cape of dreadlocks lifted by the wind around your shoulders takes my breath away. For a nanosecond, I see you navigating through traffic, a dancer on a skateboard as you once were, darting under the steel girders that buttress Queens and the Bronx. Or a skater on the icy mirror of Rockefeller Center, a straight-backed flyer, an at-ease child, someone's child, who feels freedom strong as tree trunks in their legs. You pivot, dodge, and duck 16-wheeler trucks, buses, cars, scooters, fellow skateboarders. You glide through traffic, fearless, untroubled by urban cacophony, car horns blasting, but it isn't you, can't be you, now that you are living in a space of darkness and delusion, inside a room where it is always night, making music, memorizing stories, singing to yourself, recording your voice for no one. You plot to move to the Greek islands, Italy. Yesterday it was Japan, to move across an ocean or two, like the urban pigeons native to North Africa, the Mediterranean, that alighted to New York City. Fire escapes. You'd breeze out of the Bronx as they did for an accidental diaspora. And didn't they fare well enough? Nobody wanted to publish that.
Why?
I don't know why. I don't know why. I like that poem.
What's your stepson's name?
My Mario.
Mario.
Mario
Did
Fagiano.
you read this to him?
I don't know if I ever read it to him. No, I don't think I ever read it to him. No.
Oh.
He has schizophrenia. I'm not clutching. I'm not hitting him with any reality. That's
Right.
kind of a bit of a mistake.
Okay.
Yeah, no. No, I don't really contradict him. I mean, every now and then I'll ask a question, and it's just like too much reality.
Right.
So it's a fine line that you...
And where does he live?
He lives in Staten Island.
I see.
Yeah. Let's see, what else could I read you?
So Gil had one child? Or?
Two.
Two. A daughter.
Yeah.
A daughter also?
No, 2 sons.
2 sons. Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of this is about loss and grief, actually.
Well, it
This
sounds
is
like you've had some big...
some
you know,
big, yeah.
Yeah, big
big
things
losses.
to carry grief around with.
Yeah, and grief is a weird thing, and I keep writing about it anyway.
But do you think it helps you, by writing about it? It's a way of dealing with it, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a way of dealing with it. It's also that's the language you know now.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's the voice with which you speak,
Right.
and it doesn't really go away very easily. I mean, I would like to write a few more cheerful things. I do have a couple of cheerful things I can actually read. But
I mean, I tend to write largely about tough things. I don't know. I find it more interesting.
I think it helps us to deal with them most of the time, too.
Right.
I think. But I have some angry poems in here, too. But would you like...
Write me an angry poem.
I'll read you the angry poem.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, let's see. Here it is. This ran in New Verse News. Hail Mary. Buongiorno, buen dia Maria. Full of grace and wisdom and power, the Lord may be with thee, and you may be blessed among us, among women. But what about the children? Not the one in the womb that has been consecrated as the Son of God, but God, your God, my God, has many sons, daughters, all around the world. They are not all blessed. Some are cursed and lost under a pile of rubble in Ukraine, Yemen, Israel, Palestine, Gaza. Others live in the darkness of the blind, are plagued by hallucinations, cursed with spasms of a mind that plays tricks on them all day, all night. Imagine a predator behind you, in your shadow, silent, stealthy, looking over your shoulder or under your bed. You cannot see, but you know they are there, and they mean you harm for no other reason than you are where you find yourself, not for an act you perpetrated on someone else, just for being who you are. The luck of the draw. And Holy Mary, Mother of God, do you pray for the innocent as well as the sinners? The pilots, the soldiers, firing artillery rockets, are they too prayed for? Rockets with ranges of 30 to 50 miles, fired in a barrage for the most effect, the most damage. Are they too in your prayers to God? And which God might that be? What does that God look like? What does that God think, plan? Why does that God never intervene? Humans shooting hate and rockets blindly into Ashkelon, Beersheba, under the eyes of Israeli drones. Range is crucial for rockets, for prayers, too. Pray for us sinners and for the innocent, for my own living in a world plagued with demons he cannot see or touch or hear, but knows they are there. And so music and words come to him as if a shaft of light in day or night raises his voice above the din in his brain to feel the lift above the iron dome of paranoia, the upsurge of spirits that haunt and fly and invade his small cot in an institution with cinder block walls, netted windows he can't see but knows they are there. The limitations, the lack of liberty, the outside in, the other sons and daughters in Gaza or Yemen or Ukraine are bombarded with a panoply of air power used in a steadily escalating series of attacks. What I wish for, my own son, is comfort, warmth, knowing there is a meal, a roof over his head, a dog at his feet, a son he can feel but not see. Mother of God, what do you wish for your sons, your daughters, now and at the hour of their deaths? When will your God hear your pleas, or have the mothers and daughters been silenced to the tunnels, the basements, the streets? Have they lost their voices, their powers to heal, now and at the hour of now?
I read this one
Ouch.
also. Yeah.
I know.
Well, I really like that one because we should be talking like that. We shouldn't be so cavalier about war and destruction and
Yeah, it's like Pac-Man.
Right. And the thing is, so many civilians are being murdered throughout the world.
The first bombing in Iran
was a school.
was a
school.
girls'
Yeah,
school,
right.
160 little girls.
Right.
Tell that to a church-going Catholic.
I know.
How's that working out
Right.
for you?
Yeah.
Now you got this Pope who's standing up to the world.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
Yeah.
What else did I wanted to mention that, because we're close, that Iowa's going to be at we're going to be at the New York City Poetry Festival.
Yes.
Yeah, on Saturday, July 17th. I think the Brinkley stage around 1:30. There's going to be a few of us. I just thought I'd mention
Under
that.
what banner? Is it the
think-
Italian American Writers Association?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is. My other group, the Thursday Morning Poets, are also going to be there, but I don't know what time they're going to
So
be
who's
there.
going to be the readers?
Readers at ours. Good question. I think Peter Mara he's kind of in charge of that.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying. I might be reading with Iowa this time. Usually I read with Thursday Morning Poets. Who else is reading? I don't remember. I do remember that a lot of Iowa writers just got a lot of awards from the Patterson Literary Review and Allen Ginsberg awards.
That's great.
So that's pretty nice. And I always feel like, their awards are our awards. you
Sure.
know. I hang out in this bakery that I like to say that they're really friendly fascists.
What does that mean?
Well, they're kind of, they're Italian, mostly older men, and I don't think they know what they're talking about mostly, but they're very nice to you, and they're nice to me, and I've spent a lot of time there, grieving and working and grieving and working, and nobody bothers me. But the things they say is just so crazy, and why did I bring that up? I brought it up for a reason. Oh yeah, one of them said to me, "Your problem is you're just overeducated." And I said, well, here's the thing. When one of us becomes overeducated,
right.
it's good for all of us.
Right.
I said, when one of us kills a black boy in Bensonhurst, it's bad for all of us.
Right. Right.
And that's actually what Iowa came out of.
Really?
It came out of the Yusef Hawkins killing.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah, because no one was paying attention to the Italians who did not feel the same way about killing a boy, coming to Bensonhurst to buy a car.
Right.
And
that was a big deal.
that was a huge deal.
Yeah, right.
And so we had people who were walking with Al Sharpton at that.
It was the
at
80s,
the counter.
right? Like 80.
It was Dinkins.
Yeah.
And Dinkins sent young people like de Blasio into the neighborhood to quell the experience. And I often think that had Giuliani been in power, he would have helped, set the flames. But Dinkins, as much as people used to say, oh, he's a do-nothing mayor, he didn't do this, he didn't do that, he worked in different ways. Right. And when it came to Bensonhurst, he kind of quelled what could have been a really, really terrible thing. Right. So Iowa grew out of that because it was very clear nobody listened to us.
Right. I didn't know
and
that.
Bob Viscusi started it. He started it with a group that said, he said, I called all these Italian-American authors in a room, and I went around the room and I said, who's your favorite Italian-American author besides yourself? And he said, you could hear a pin drop. And he said, okay, we have to have rules. Read each other. Write or be written. Buy our books.
Right.
He said, because if we don't read each other, why should anybody else?
Right.
And so that kind of started, and it was on the tail of when Italian-American studies started appearing in different colleges.
Okay.
Queens College was one of the first ones. So there was a different kind of, it was a consciousness raising of some sort. But I can read you something a little, I don't know.
You read one more, and then I'm going to read, so I always read one, too.
Okay.
I'll read one after your next one.
I could read you the Leonard Cohen poem.
Okay, I like the sound of that.
Yeah. This, and I have to say that my sister Julia, who's also a poet, helped me organize this book, and she actually helped me edit two of the pieces that I was having the most trouble with. And she's so smart because she just looked at it really quickly and she said, oh, this has to go here and that. And it was just like...
Perfect.
Perfect.
Nice, yeah.
She did it like that, you know? I mean, Gil used to be my first reader. We used to have a folder on the table called Scambio, and we would just put in our drafts as, casually.
Right.
And then as we maybe were doing something else, we would pull out the drafts and write notes on each other's drafts.
That's great. Yeah, what a great...
It was fantastic.
That's a great tradition.
It was fantastic. Yeah. So this is called A Stranger Speaks to Me at the Leonard Cohen exhibit. A Crack in Everything, Jewish Museum, April 12th, 2019. You are standing here alone, but you are two. I can feel two people, says the stranger. She wears a pancake hat with tiny rosebuds that slip off her halo of feathery magenta-dyed hair. I'm dressed in my dead husband's black jeans, my back to the wall. She spots the single silver wing dangling from a chain around my neck. She cannot see the engraved letters, WWGS. What would Gilly say? Yet she seems to know. We are all morose Suzannes, she says, traveling side by side. Her dead brother travels with her, as my lost mate does with me. She gets you on her wavelength, and she lets the river answer. She turns to me in the black-walled gallery. You are an angel who can be wary. You have lost something big, but I can tell you are not alone. And you know that she's half crazy. That's why you want to be there. I recall my husband's last words, that he will see me again and again, will never lose sight of me. Who is writing the verses I write now? Is it him? Is it me? Are we writing to each other? Like the ancient sirens, I will keep dancing. dancing as if the whole world was watching, in this chamber of dreams where I will never be alone.
Nice. I love that. Well,
Let's hear what you got.
okay. This one's called Something to Believe in. And it just so happens that the woman in this poem is Maria, but it has nothing to do with you.
It's a common name, common name.
It is. Sometimes I don't, when I first started writing poetry, probably a lot of it was about myself.
Sure.
And then I started trying to put pieces of me in somebody else's story. And then I realized I just want to tell stories of other people. Mm-hmm. I don't always want it to be me. And
it's a good technique.
Yeah.
You need the one
but
step
then
away.
But then you have to come up with a name.
Yeah, but you just want to be one step away. And sometimes you can be more honest.
Right. But sometimes I'm afraid of picking the name of somebody that I don't want them to think I'm writing about them. So anyway, this is something to believe in. Maria slowly pushed her cart up the block. It was a heavy load, filled with her past mistakes, things she couldn't get rid of. She stopped to rummage through trash cans, hoping to find what was missing in her life of broken promises and the failures she had accumulated. Maria talked to herself out loud, words that had no rhyme or reason. There was no one who would listen to them anyway. She moved from house to house in a neighborhood she dreamed of living in, like the one she once played hopscotch in while smiling at the boys playing stickball who looked away because she was from that family, the family the cops always paid a visit to and ambulances drove away from with sirens blaring. The violence and the pain would make her hide under the bed with all her demons, but memories can be confusing when your mind and soul was never fully nourished, and constant hunger is just something that you live with. The cross you wear around your neck is not the only cross that you bear, nor an accessory that you wear. It's the only thing you have left from childhood nightmares, the only thing you could believe in when everything surrounding you was never meant to be for your salvation. It was just a family in dysfunction that helped turn her into a woman who thought that her lot in life was just wishing for a home filled with love and forgiveness.
That covers a lot of ground. That's a big poem.
Yeah. I saw a woman rummaging through somebody's stuff, and she had a cart. She was probably collecting stuff. So I just imagine what her life was like before that.
Well, that's like kind of the beauty of New York too. Mm-hmm. We live so close together that you can't help but notice things. All you have to do is observe. Right. More than anything, and it's interesting. And
there's a lot of things to get inspiration from.
Yeah, and
just walking around.
I like eavesdropping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite things.
Is that the journalist in you?
Yeah, but it was so funny. Yesterday when I was in the bakery and one of the guys said, well, when are you going to write about us? And I said, what makes you think I haven't? He went, oh, but do we get to look at it? I said, no, you don't. I'm just sneaking away doing this.
Are you still a travel journalist? Or
yeah, I am, because actually I just came back from Florida last week.
Uh-huh.
I went to Clearwater and St. Pete's.
Okay.
So I'm doing a story on the area, like a business story.
I see.
And then I'll do a piece on the Dali Museum,
mm-hmm.
which I really had a great time going to.
That sounds like
fun. It was fabulous. Well, the interesting thing is St. Pete's kind of was on its not doing so well
mm-hmm.
in terms of economics, I guess, in the 80s.
I see.
Like a lot of places probably. And this couple who had a private collection, a private Dali collection, they were aging, and they thought, this stuff has to go somewhere.
Right.
This is ridiculous.
Wow.
So they put out a call somehow to various cities in the country who would like to have this collection, who's willing to build something for this collection. And the Morse family did. And the Morse family is the one that owned it, but St. Pete's jumped at the chance because I think whoever the mayor was, I don't know who it was, saw this as a chance to kind of a renaissance to resuscitate the city.
I see.
And it became kind of a big thing. I think Dali also had a relationship to the city.
I was going to ask.
I think he had a relationship too, which kind of don't remember the detail.
Right.
And so after that, the mayor also made available all these boarded up places to artists for small fees. And that helped rebuild the whole city. And now, within walking distance, there are 9 museums.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Chihuly has a little bit of a collection there.
Right.
There's a Holocaust museum that just got renovated. They have
That's
quite a
interesting.
few. They have 9 museums, literally within walking distance of each other. So that's one of my assignments. But yeah, so I still write for travel and,
So,
I like that.
You're a very interesting person to talk to. You have a lot to say.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, sorry.
You have a lot of nice.
Too much to say.
No, you have nice energy. I really appreciate you. Anything you want to? How can people how can they buy the books, and how can they find you? The website you want to promote, or
Yeah, that would be a good idea to have one.
yeah.
I don't.
Oh, okay.
So but
I think the same thing with myself.
It's
I really
terrible.
wish I had one.
But I always think, it's going to be one more thing I have to maintain.
Right.
And aren't I kind of in a lot of places? I mean, the Academy of American Poets, that was a real game changer in my life because I was writing and I had been the poet laureate, but that really sealed
We
it
didn't
for
get
me.
to talk to you about your being a poet laureate.
Oh yeah, I mean, I did a lot of small events. I didn't do giant spectacular events. I don't know.
How did it feel to you to get selected?
Oh well, I have to tell you that I think I tried to get it in 2012 and I didn't get it.
I see.
And then a few years later, my husband was thinking of trying for it. And then I said, oh, but I was thinking of doing it again. And he said, well, you're the real Queen's person. Why don't you do it and see what happens?
Sure.
And the first time around, actually, Hal Sirowitz, he was I think the second Queen's Poet Laureate. He really encouraged me to reapply because he and Stephen Stepanchev really felt I should do it. And Hal died recently from Parkinson's.
Sorry.
And we're doing a tribute to him, actually. A group of us, I mean, I'm not in charge of it, but it's April 16th at the Bowery Club, Bowery Poetry Club.
Right.
And we're doing a tribute to Hal
Nice.
Sirowitz. And he was a very kind, very, very nice guy.
Great.
And his crazy series was called Mother Said. Right. It was translated in 22 languages.
Right.
It was the craziest thing, And but he had a very unusual sense of humor. So anyway, that was the Poet Laureate. The issue now with the Poet Laureate, and I might as well be frank about it. After my tenure ended, 2019, they extended it for 1 year because my husband was sick in 2018. So Melinda Katz was great about it, and Jennifer Weprin. And then there was a change of guard because Melinda went off to be the DA. So she left her post, and her PR person, Jennifer, also left. So my two kind of main contacts left, and another person came in, and he didn't really honor the system of choosing the next poet laureate. And the system was that we were interviewed by 12 people from different cultural institutions in Queens. That was part of the process, big, long, application and all this other stuff. But it wasn't just about talent. It was about whether or not you could make friends in the community where you could read.
Because there's a certain amount of outreach.
Kind of that.
Yeah.
And
you go to events throughout the year.
They didn't have a real formal list of, you must do these 6 things.
Right.
They wanted you to do at least 3 a year, which was very minimal. But
Sure.
I did a lot of things. And anyway, so we put out a call, and this guy, I don't know if I should, well, he's the head of culture and tourism for Queens. He appointed himself as the only judge and decided that none of those applicants were good enough.
So
then
terrible.
He said, I'm going to put out a second call. And so me and Paolo Javier, who was also a former Queen's Poet Laureate, we said, if you're going to do that really quick, because it's not nice to the first group.
Right.
But also, maybe nobody will notice it if you do it right away. But
Sure.
we didn't think it was a good idea.
Right.
And nobody was listening to us. And he did it again 4 months later.
Wow. That's
and
terrible.
again, he decided no one was good enough.
Holy cow.
And we told him, but you are not the judge. The judge should be the 12 people who are.
Should be more than one person making that decision.
So we had a separation of the minds, let's say.
Okay.
And ever since 2019, 2020, Paolo and I have been, we have reached out to the borough president. We have reached out to this guy. We have reached out to Queens College, to Queens Public Library, all of which helped to initiate it under Claire Schulman. And nobody's responded.
Wow.
They just totally ignore us.
Right.
And so we did a letter writing campaign. Queens Gazette was really nice and generous, and they ran all these letters that people wrote. Nada. So I don't know. It's unfortunate because had I not been the Queen's Poet Laureate, I couldn't have competed for the Academy of American Poet Fellowship.
Okay.
Only 23 people in the country got it that year.
Okay.
And they get a certain amount of money from oh my goodness, I can't think of the name, but a big foundation.
Let's see.
So, it's unfortunate that they've stymied this because also there's a tremendous amount of poetry in Queens.
I'm sure.
And Queens has 159 languages.
Right.
It's the most diverse place on earth.
Yeah.
So, and even when I got the fellowship, they didn't even make a congratulations or anything. And I wrote to them and I said, you should be making hay out of this.
Right.
It's not about me.
Right.
It's about bringing attention to Queens.
Sure.
But
sounds like they're just... Yeah.
So I think nobody wants to be
leadership's not
bothered.
where
They
it
just don't
should
want
be.
to be bothered. Something.
Well,
Anyway.
it's time for us to wrap it
Yeah,
up.
sorry about that. I went overtime.
It's okay.
You got 5 minutes overtime.
Well, it's all right. It's not no one's going to,
you can cut things.
we can go over. It's perfectly fine. Anyway, Maria Lisella, you've been a great guest. I really enjoyed talking to you and listening to your life and your poetry and about your husband, Gil. So you've been listening or watching Storytelling on Orchard Street. Your host, Pete Salamita. And we're at the P&T Knitwear Bookstore Podcast Studio. And once again, Maria, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. This was really a nice opportunity.
Thanks.
So tell me which books you want.